All right, today we are diving deep into the brand new Pakistan Economic Survey for 2024-25. The government just dropped this thing, and wow, it's painting a picture of a pretty dramatic economic rescue. After some really tough times, the big claim is that the country is making a decisive turnaround. So let's get into it and see what's actually behind that big statement. And they're not burying the lead here. Right in the forward, the finance secretary calls it a decisive turnaround. I mean, that's a huge claim, right? It's not just some buzzword, it's the central theme of this entire report. Basically saying, hey, things have fundamentally shifted for the better. So you gotta ask, is this just wishful thinking from the government, or does the actual data back it up? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out. We're gonna walk through the key numbers and charts from the survey itself and see what story they really tell. Okay, let's kick things off with the big picture. We're talking about the top-line macroeconomic numbers, the main evidence the survey points to for this whole turnaround story. First up, check out the primary surplus. Now, this is a really key number. It's basically what the government earns, minus what it spends, before paying interest on its debt. It's a core measure of how healthy the government's finances are. And according to the survey, it doubled to a historic 3% of GDP. That, my friends, signals a major tightening of the belt, a huge step up in fiscal discipline. And then there's inflation. You might remember just a year ago, it was running super hot, over 17%. Now look at the latest figure for April. It has absolutely plummeted to just 0.3%. That's a 6-decade low. You can see why the survey is holding this up as, a cornerstone achievement of their whole stabilization plan. This next number is absolutely crucial for Pakistan's stability on the world stage. $1.9 billion. What is that? That's the current account surplus for the first 10 months of the fiscal year. Now, for a country that has almost always struggled with deficits, this is a massive flip. I mean, last year it was a $1.3 billion deficit. This reversal is a huge deal for building up the country's foreign exchange reserves. So, okay, the big picture numbers, they're looking a lot more stable. But what does that actually mean for the real economy? For businesses and jobs. Let's pop the hood and see how the core sectors, we're talking agriculture, industry, and services, are actually doing. The headline number for the real economy is this, 2.68% growth. Now, I know, that might not sound like a massive number, but you have to remember, after a period of contraction, any solid positive growth is significant. The survey really frames this as the bedrock of the entire recovery story. And when you break that growth down, a really clear picture starts to form. The industrial sector is really leading to comeback, bouncing back with almost 4.8% growth. That's strong. Services, which is the biggest part of the economy, grew steadily at almost 3%. But then, look at agriculture. It's barely growing at all. And there's a very specific reason for that. Yeah, that sluggish number for agriculture is really a tale of two different stories. See, on one hand, you had livestock and some of the other minor crops doing really well. But all that success was pretty much wiped out by a huge drop. We're talking over 13% in major crops like cotton and wheat. And that's what really held the whole sector back. All right, so with all these changes happening inside the country, how is the rest of the world reacting? This next part is all about a really crucial piece of the puzzle, investor confidence. 50%. Just let that sink in. That is the incredible return of the Pakistan Stock Exchange's main index in just 9 months. The survey points to this as, hard, cold evidence that investors are feeling confident again and are willing to bet on the country's economic future. And it's not just the local market either. The big international credit rating agency Fitch actually upgraded Pakistan's sovereign rating to B- with a stable outlook. This is a huge stamp of approval from the outside world. It basically tells global markets that the country's risk has gone down, which makes it easier and cheaper to borrow money. The survey also leans heavily on what the IMF is saying, and you can see why. The IMF is acknowledging significant improvements and evident progress. Now, when that language comes from the IMF, it's a really powerful endorsement. It's a big signal to the world that the government's policies are on the right track. And the IMF didn't just stop at nice words. They backed it up with cash. $1.4 billion in new financing was approved. And this isn't just any loan. It's from a special fund, the Resilience and Sustainability Facility, which is specifically designed to help Pakistan build up its defenses against long-term threats like climate change. So, after laying out all the evidence for this turnaround, the survey looks to the future. The big question shifts from how do we stabilize to how do we keep this going? Let's take a look at the government's game plan. And here they are, the 5 key pillars of their strategy. Honestly, it's a pretty classic playbook for building sustainable growth. You've got deep structural reforms, a big push for export-led growth, fixing the tax system to broaden the base, attracting investment, and, of course, making sure there's a strong social safety net. The survey presents these as the essential next steps to really lock in the progress they've made. So there you have it. The Pakistan Economic Survey paints this really compelling picture of resilience and recovery. It's backed by some solid improvements in the country's finances, inflation, and how investors are feeling. The data clearly shows an economy that has stabilized and is starting to grow again. But the big, lingering question, the one this whole report leaves us with, is this. How do you take this hard-won stability and turn it into the kind of long-term inclusive growth that actually benefits everyone?